like we can't really project when he's gonna be back. Like I know he was put on IR, so it's what 10 days. How does I'm so bad with this
a
stuff.
week? So
A week.
yeah, he's
Okay.
gonna miss the next 3 games minimum, but it could be longer.
Yeah. I would guess that after your second concussion in a month, that you miss more than a week. But who knows? I'm not going to play, Twitter, radio, podcast, doctor, whatever you want to call it. But I thought that the quote from Berube was interesting, and I think you did too because you posted it and you put it out in an article. But yeah, the quote is, quote, "I didn't like it. He's sticking up for his team and his teammates. We really appreciate that, but I don't like seeing it happen." End quote. Was your interpretation of that like he doesn't like seeing McCabe fight, period, or that he didn't like what Hathaway did? Like what was the way you interpreted it? Because I took it as like he doesn't like to see him fight.
I don't think he liked to see him fight that guy in that situation.
Yeah.
Like it was behind the play. It's a nothing, whatever, January game against the Flyers. Hathaway's a real puncher. And he's probably going to face Ryan Reeves tonight, I would imagine. And I know he kind of clips Hildeby, but it didn't seem like over the top egregious.
Agree.
I like that. And then, we want the Leafs to stick up for each other, right? We don't want the Timothy Liljegren in Boston and everyone turns the other cheek and then they have to have a big meeting about, oh, hey guys, we're a hockey team. We need to stick up for each other. And I love that the heart McCabe showed, like, okay, go have a chat with Hathaway. You have him down, but then to let him get up and actually drop the gloves. And it was a fight that McCabe picked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of initiated it.
Not kind of. He did.
Well, he did. Yeah, he did.
He did. You do that. You take multiple shots at a guy with cross checks while he's down on the ice. He's going to get up and fight you.
Yes. So I don't know. It became a bigger thing than it needed to be. And that was my interpretation from Berube. And it's a fine line, right? Because he also wants guys to stick up for each other, and he loves that. He always talks about guys being good teammates, and the whole band of brothers thing. Like Berube loves that stuff, but it feels like a little bit of pick your spots or do it in a bit of a smarter way, especially since you've just had a head injury. I mean, it's a fast game, heat of the moment. I'm sure McCabe's not weighing all that in the thing. He just says, this guy touched my goalie. I'm going to go have a conversation with him.
Which I get, but the follow-up the follow-up question to this is, do you get the sense that on a team where obviously they do preach sticking up for one another, for a group that has been lambasted at times for not doing it, that there is going to be a little bit of a discussion with McCabe of, hey, we love the tenacity that you play with. We love the way that you stick up for teammates, but you're one of the most important guys on the team. And we can't lose you to injury. We can't lose you for 5 minutes for a fight.
He's so important now.
Yeah.
That is one of the best shutdown pairs in hockey right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
I said he's one of the 6 most important skaters on the team. I now have him above Morgan Riley in terms of like guy you cannot lose to injury going into the postseason. Like taking goaltenders out of it, he's the top 6 skater. He's
probably harder to replace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Riley, you could have OEL on the power play and it'd probably be about the same. So
yeah, I would guess.
He really is an important guy, and he's behind the scenes. I know he doesn't wear a letter, but guys look up to him. He's become a leader in that room too.
Mm-hmm.
He goes about business in a different way, right? Like Tanev, I think, is a better defenseman, but he doesn't do it physically. He does it more with his stick and his shot blocking, and just the pairing of those, they really complement each other in terms of not just lefty-righty, but their style in how they defend is a little bit different. And so it's this two-headed monster that on most nights limits or completely shuts down the other team's best line. Those two guys, even though they have hardly any offense between the two of them, they lead the Leafs in plus-minus. Those two. And I know, plus-minus is a flawed stat, but that tells you something about just how good they are at defending. They start most of their shifts in their own zone. They kill the penalties. Like that duo is incredibly valuable, especially come playoff time. So you just cross your fingers and hope that he gets better soon. Like 2 head injuries in 35 days, whatever it is frightening.
He very much reminds me of Jake Muzzin in the sense of the Leafs don't have that guy who's a vocal leader in the dressing room, who is a thumper, right? Like the team, as much as they are like a more physical team, a shot blocking team, go on down the line, like how many guys actually lay the body on the team like he does, right? Nyes likes to hit. There's no question. It's very different.
Benoit.
Yep. Benoit showcased it.
In his 9 minutes, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah.
But ultimately, like McCabe serves such an important, like multifaceted function for this team. They can't afford to lose him. And I don't like that. The reason why I thought about him with Muzzin was the injury this time, where I was like, damn, that would remind me of it, where it's like you get closer to the postseason and you have a guy who is getting a little bit older and plays that style where it's like he's not afraid to engage you physically, not afraid to get into a fight. The body starts to wear down. And so, for McCabe's sake and for the organization's sake, again, I feel like I'm speaking on both sides of my mouth because I love the fact that he plays so fearless. They're going to have to preach it to him in a way that isn't fear, but more responsibility and import to the team moving forward, and kind of have him be like sort of on the no-no list for fighting, especially heavyweights. Like this is 2 fights against 2 of the better heavyweights in the league this season.
So I'll never forget, it was such a great line. Tyler Toffoli, after the bubble series that Montreal upset Toronto. And that's the one Tavares went out. He said in the Montreal room, they knew they had a great shot to win the series when Jake Muzzin went down. It wasn't about Tavares. It wasn't about, we have Carey Price. That series turned in Toffoli's mind and a lot of his teammates' mind when Muzzin went down. That's how important Muzzin was to the Leafs. And just drawing the parallel where you're talking about McCabe. Yeah. So
I think that
it's just a good thing it's in January. There's lots of time for him to hopefully
for sure
get straight here. Yeah,
for sure. I'm not trying to like fearmonger and have people be like, oh, he's injured. Like that's not my point here. My point is simply that it's like you've had 2 head injuries in a season. If I'm the Leafs, I'm being like overly cautious in terms of his return, right? Like I'm just pushing this. The way that they treated Matthews is the way that I want them to treat McCabe, where it's like you're not stepping foot on the ice until you're cleared by, a doctor in Germany too. We want multiple opinions that you're ready to go. But yes, just simply that the messaging is, hey man, we love the way you play. We love the way you stick up for teammates. We don't want you to lose the snarl, but we can't have you fight the Hathaways and the Shens of the world. Like it just can't be a part of your game anymore. You're too important to this team. Like we'll let Simon Benoit handle that. I don't care who handles it. It flat out cannot be you.
Leafs all in on center hunt. Treliving's bold moves could shape Toronto's future. As a die-hard Toronto Maple Leaf supporter, it's hard not to get excited about the latest trade buzz surrounding the team. Brad Treliving, the Leafs general manager, appears poised to make some daring moves to strengthen the squad's depth down the middle. The whispers of significant trades are growing louder, and Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet has added fuel to the fire with his recent revelations. The situation has become even more pressing as the Leafs grapple with the ongoing upper body injury to team captain Auston Matthews. Matthews has already missed the last 4 games, and while the team is doing its best to stay afloat, the need for reinforcements at center is undeniable. Treliving, it seems, is ready to part with valuable assets to address this glaring need. The center's on Treliving's radar. Names like Jake Evans from the Montreal Canadiens, Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders, and the Philadelphia Flyers' Morgan Frost have been mentioned as potential targets. These players bring a mix of experience and skill, each offering something unique to the Leafs lineup. But, as Friedman highlighted during his appearance on the Fan 590's The Fan Hockey Show, the price tags for these players vary significantly. That's the number one thing he's, Treliving, been looking at all season, Friedman noted, emphasizing the GM's focus on finding the right fit at center. This isn't just about plugging a hole, it's about finding a player who can elevate the team to new heights. Priorities in focus. While some fans might argue that the Leafs need help on defense, Friedman suggested that Treliving's primary focus is elsewhere. They did a lot of their work in the off-season. I think now there's a question if they need to go find someone to play with Morgan Reilly, he explained. But it's not their number one priority. I believe their number one thing all season has been, let's find another center. This clear focus on center depth speaks volumes about Treliving's strategy. The Leafs are willing to pay a hefty price, but there's a caveat: the player must come with term. Why term matters? The preference for term isn't just a strategic move, it's a sign that Treliving is thinking long-term. Rentals can be tempting, especially for a team looking to make a deep playoff run, but they often come with risks. One of the things I've heard is that if they're going to spend assets on a center, they would prefer it to be someone with term, Friedman revealed. This approach ensures that any trade made benefits the Leafs beyond the immediate future. Internal struggles and potential fits. Internally, the Leafs have tried to find solutions. Fraser Minten showed promise earlier this season, but the organization prefers to let him develop further with the Marlies. Meanwhile, the Leafs' current lineup has struggled to maintain its depth in Matthews' absence. One intriguing option could be Vincent Trocheck from the New York Rangers. With the Rangers facing their own challenges, could they be persuaded to part with a player like Trocheck, who already has chemistry with Leaf stars from last year's All-Star game? The road ahead. As the calendar flips to 2025, the trade deadline looms larger. Treliving's actions in the coming months will undoubtedly shape the Leafs' playoff aspirations and potentially their long-term future. For Leafs fans, the anticipation is palpable. Every move, every rumor, and every game feels like a piece of the puzzle. Treliving's willingness to swing for the fences shows a commitment to bringing a championship to Toronto, a dream that has eluded the franchise for far too long. Why this matters? This isn't just another season. This is a chance for the Leafs to solidify their identity as a contender. With Matthews expected to return and the possibility of a major trade to bolster the lineup, the team is poised to make a statement. Treliving's boldness, combined with the team's potential, makes it an exhilarating time to be a Leafs fan. Whether it's Evans, Nelson, Frost, or another unexpected addition, one thing is clear: the Leafs are in it to win it. So, buckle up, Leafs Nation. The journey ahead promises to be as thrilling as it is unpredictable. Treliving's moves could define the legacy of this team, and, hopefully, end the championship drought that has haunted Toronto for decades. The weight of expectations. The Leafs are no strangers to the pressure of the spotlight. Toronto is a hockey city, and the Maple Leafs are its beating heart. Every move made by management is scrutinized, every decision debated endlessly by fans and analysts alike. Treliving stepped into a challenging role when he took over as GM, and his willingness to take bold steps shows he understands the weight of these expectations. What makes this moment particularly critical is the team's current window of contention. With stars like Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander in their